The story begins with a girl named Cha Joo-Ran, whose Japanese name is Shizuko. She suffers from a disease inherited from her biological mother. Afraid of this illness, her stepmother sends her away to a girls' boarding school far from the city called Gyeonsong. When Shizuko arrives in a luxury car, the other students are surprised by the arrival of this beautiful new girl. The school is special. Every student there has a serious illness, and the school claims it can help treat them. On her first day, Shizuko is warmly welcomed by the principal, but the counselor treats her harshly. The reason? She wants to keep a diary, even though the school strictly forbids students from having one. As Shizuko adjusts to life at the boarding school, she meets a kind woman named Hongyeon Deok, also known by her Japanese name Kazue. Kazue helps her settle in and makes her feel welcome. Shizuko also befriends a girl named Kira, who explains that students who behave well and earn enough points may get the chance to be sent to Tokyo. However, not everyone likes Shizuko. A girl named Yuka openly dislikes her and constantly bullies her. Because of her weak health, Shizuko often coughs up blood. The principal gives her special injections and tells her that if she improves and becomes one of the school's top students, she might be sent to Tokyo. Later, Kira tells Shizuko something strange. There used to be another girl named Shizuko. She was once best friends with Kazue and Yuka, but her condition got worse and she eventually left the school. Soon after, Kazue secretly takes Shizuko to a hidden basement and gives her a diary that once belonged to the previous Shizuko. The next day, the students have PE class and take turns doing the long jump. When it's Shizuko's turn, she can't jump at all and suddenly starts coughing. After that, she's given another injection. Besides the injections, the students are also given strange pills and unusual food every day. During lunch, Shizuko asks Kira about the previous girl named Shizuko. Suddenly, Kira starts acting very strange and violently attacks her, almost choking her to death before collapsing and having a seizure. Shizuko is rushed to the infirmary for treatment. Later, Kira walks into the room and talks to Shizuko like nothing happened. She doesn't remember the attack at all. While hanging clothes to dry, Shizuko asks Kazue what lies beyond the forest next to the school. Kazue says no one really knows, but she has heard there might be an ocean. Curious, they sneak out together to explore the forest and discover a beautiful lake. While playing in the water, Shizuko realizes she's no longer coughing blood. She feels hopeful and believes the treatment is finally working. Soon after, during PE class, Shizuko surprises everyone by successfully completing the long jump. Her classmates applaud her and she feels proud of her progress. But the next day, while getting dressed, she finds a dead bird covered in blood inside her locker. It turns out Yuka put it there because she doesn't like how confident Shizuko has become. At lunch, Shizuko gets revenge by secretly placing the bloody bird onto Yuka's food. Later, while alone in her room reading the previous Shizuko's diary, something suddenly falls to the floor. When she bends down to pick it up, a hand appears from under the bed. Terrified, she looks underneath and sees a girl covered in slime staring back at her. Shizuko screams and runs away. Soon after, the school announces that a student has disappeared, leaving all her belongings behind. The principal claims the girl simply went home early because of her illness. However, Shizuko suspects the slimy girl she saw was actually that missing student. When she tells Kazue, Kazue becomes angry and insists Shizuko must have imagined the whole thing. The next morning, Shizuko receives another injection. Later, Kira calls her over and shows her something strange under the stairs. To Shizuko's shock, it's the same slimy girl she saw in her room before. Terrified, Shizuko tries to run away, but then she sees Kira behind her choking herself for no reason. Panicked, Shizuko runs to the counselor for help, but the counselor doesn't believe her. The principal also dismisses her fears, saying she's just being too sensitive. She even claims that Kira transferred to another school that very morning. Later that day, Shizuko practices the long jump and realizes she can now jump much farther than before. The girl who once couldn't even clear the sandbox is suddenly improving fast. She starts wondering if the medicine and injections are the reason. Kazue becomes worried and tells her that the previous girl named Shizuko went through the same strange changes before she disappeared. The next day, the principal announces that Shizuko has been chosen to go to Tokyo. Kazue, who has always dreamed of being selected, is heartbroken and runs out of the classroom. When Shizuko tries to follow her, Yuka attacks her. This time, Shizuko fights back and almost chokes Yuka to death. Kazue sees this and angrily tells Shizuko she's becoming a terrible person. Later, Kazue meets Shizuko and reveals a shocking secret. She once saw the previous Shizuko turn into a terrifying creature. She then shows Shizuko a hidden passage that leads to the principal's office. While searching the office, they hear the principal talking with a Japanese soldier. From their conversation, the girls discover the horrifying truth. The boarding school is actually a secret experiment run by the Japanese army. All the students are being used as test subjects in an attempt to turn humans into superhumans. They also find documents proving the experiments, including the strange drugs and injections given to the students. Suddenly, they hear screams outside. Yuka has climbed a tree and is trying to take her own life. Everyone rushes to stop her, but she jumps. In the chaos, Shizuko and Kazue seize the chance to escape. After running for a long time, they stumble upon a Japanese military base. They try to hide, but a soldier finds them and immediately attacks. As they try to flee, the soldier shoots Shizuko in the leg. Before running away, Kazue whispers something to her. The soldier takes Shizuko back to the boarding school, where the principal brings her straight to the laboratory. There, Shizuko is exposed to a dangerous gas as part of another experiment. But unexpectedly, Kazue sneaks back into the school and steals a gun from the principal's office. She tries to rescue Shizuko, but when she enters the lab, she makes a horrifying discovery. The missing students have been frozen inside glass tubes. While she's looking at them, a Japanese soldier suddenly attacks and beats her until she loses consciousness. Meanwhile, in the principal's office, the soldier tells the principal that her job is finished and that the Japanese army will now take control of the school. The principal refuses and threatens him, but more soldiers storm into the room. Even the counselor turns against her and slaps her. At the same time, Kazue wakes up trapped inside one of the tubes. Water slowly begins filling it, and she desperately calls for help. After a while, Shizuko finally wakes up, but she's too late. Kazue's tube is already filled with water. Seeing this, Shizuko completely loses control. She goes on a rampage, attacking the soldiers and the principal, and brutally kills everyone in the facility. Elsewhere, the counselor checks on the other students and finds them quietly sewing together. Realizing something is wrong, she tries to run away, but the girls surround her and attack her together. The principal tries to escape and look for help, but Shizuko catches her. Shizuko demands to know why she did all this. The principal shoots at her, but the bullet accidentally hits Kazue's tube instead. Seeing Kazue dead inside, Shizuko snaps and attacks the principal, throwing her onto a sharp object that pierces her heart. This marks the tragic end of the girls' boarding school and its horrifying human experiments. Don't forget to subscribe and turn on notifications for more videos like this. Thanks for watching, and see you next time.